Hi, my name is Dani. Welcome if you've just stumbled across this channel, or welcome back. I know it's been a while. Sorry, I'm just grabbing my coffee. I think the last video that I filmed was my predictions for the Women's Prize for Fiction. And I can't even remember when I filmed that. So I thought I would just come on here, say hello, just let you know what's been going on in my life. I have a few life updates. I don't think that explains why I've not filmed, because it's not as if I don't have time to myself. I am very busy. I do have a very busy life. And then at the weekends, I just cannot be bothered doing anything. And that includes picking up my camera. So when I was going through this, because I noticed I only had like 4 minutes on my card, and I was like, how have I only got 4 minutes? I think I have started about 6 or 7 vlogs. When I was going through that, I have many intros for vlogs, but I have never actually committed to filming a full like weekly vlog or anything. So I thought I'll come on here, I'll say hello, I'll give you a few reading updates, I'll give you a few life updates, and then hopefully I will get back into a schedule for filming, because this ties in with update number 1. I have a new job. So I am actually going to be working for the NHS, training to be an adult nurse. So I'm very excited to start that. I've had my induction this week. There's a lot of inductions that you have to do to become part of the NHS. So you have to do like 2 days of corporate inductions, which were online. Apparently used to be face to face, and then we had 2 days that we had to go in. So one was a day of manual handling, so learning how to use the hoists and everything. And then the second day was clinical induction, so letting you know what your job role is going to be. So I am actually employed by the NHS as a healthcare support worker / a trainee adult nurse. So I think I will end up having a lot more responsibility than a healthcare support worker would have, because obviously I will be training to be a nurse. So I will be qualified in about 3.5 years time. I will be a qualified nurse, which is just fantastic. This is the first year that the NHS Lothian, who I'm employed by, have done this, where you get a full wage alongside your training. So I'm doing my degree through the Open University, and I'm very excited to get started. So I will actually only be working 3 days a week most of the time, and it's long days. It's 7 in the morning till 8 at night, but it's only 3 days a week, so I will be having 4 days off a week, which is plenty of time for filming. I need to get myself sorted and have set filming, well, not set filming days, because obviously my days off change each week, but just be like, this day I am going to film. So fingers crossed. And then the second big life update is I am going to be moving house. I am going to be moving in with my boyfriend. We've been together for just under a year. It's nearly a year, and pretty much I stay at his house half of the time, and we are just ready to move in together now. So ready to take that next step of the relationship. So it's going really well, as you can imagine, if we're moving in together. We're going on holiday next week, which I am super excited about. I've not been on holiday since 2019, so 4 years since I have had a holiday. So we're going to Cyprus, an adults only place. The weather is ridiculously hot there still. It's like 34 degrees when I last looked. So yeah, I'm gonna get a mega tan, but I'm very excited. I cannot wait. So the holiday is well needed. So I'll literally have worked for 1 week, and then I will be going on holiday. So yay, very excited about that. So now let's go on to reading. I have not had the best start to my reading year. I'm just going to like look at my Goodreads. Can we tell I've got like a Stitch obsession? Although this is Angel, this is not Stitch. But yeah, I went into I'm digressing, but I went into Primark and they had so many Lilo and Stitch things. And I was just like, yeah, going for it. So last year I read 56 books, so my goal for every year is 52 books because that's a book a week, which should be more than doable. I'm currently on 22 books read. I'm 14 books behind schedule, so I should be on 36 books read. Now, a lot of these books I have read recently because I had a pretty decent start to the year, and then I have genuinely didn't read for about 6 months. So now I have my reading mojo back, and I've had quite a good amount of like 4 or 5 star reads, not pretty much all of them, I think. I think there was a couple I gave like 3 stars, but the majority of the books I have read have been brilliant. So even though I've not read as much, I have read pretty good books. So I just wanted to sort of talk about a few books that I have really enjoyed. So the first one, I have them all balanced on my knee here, it's not the best, was Yellowface by, well, she's Rebecca F. Kwan on this, or R.F. Kwan, and this is her first sort of like contemporary book that she's brought out, and I just thought it was fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. It's up there with one of my favourite books of the year. Just gonna take a sip. Yeah, I just absolutely adored this book. It's basically about a writer who she's sort of friends with this other writer who's really popular, and she dies, so she dies in front of her, so she then steals her manuscript and releases this book as her own. There's a lot about like a lot of race things involved in this, because the author that she stole from was an Asian author and this girl was white, and when the book that she brought out was based on I think, was it Chinese people during the war, like when they got involved in the war, and the name that she releases her book under is quite suspect as well. That made people think she was an Asian author. But yeah, there's a lot of that which I thought was quite interesting, and I just loved it. It was kind of like a sort of mystery as well, and yeah, I highly recommend reading that if you haven't read it. The next book I read was a series. I've read the Prison Healer series and I loved this series. I think I gave every book 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. It follows a girl called Kiva. She is a prison healer. She's in this horrible prison. It's absolutely horrendous, and basically her job is to look after the prisoners, and one prisoner comes in and she's like queen of the rebels, and she gets given a note that under no circumstances is she to let this woman die, and this woman has to undergo trial by ordeal, it's called. So it's different trials that basically if you do them you're going to die, because there's no way to survive them really. So Kiva volunteers to take this woman's place and do the trials herself. So I love books that involve trials. If you like books that involve trials, then pick up The Prison Healer. Then another book that I finally got round to reading was House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. So this is the fairy look version. So as you can see, this is a chunker of a book. It's about 800 pages long, so I mean that could count as about 2 books. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. It was about a girl called Bryce. Something happens very early on in the book. It's very sad, and it's like a mystery. She's trying to find out who has stolen something, and she teams up with this angel, and why can't I remember his name? Hunt. She teams up with Hunt, and they're trying to solve this mystery. And it did not feel like this book was 800 pages long, because once you get past the world building, because there's a lot of world building, once you get past that, I just flew through it. Like I just loved it so much. So if you're a sort of fantasy reader, because this has a lot of different creatures in it, so you've got like werewolves, vampires, fae, all sorts in this book. Is some sad bits as well that did make me tear up a bit, but I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was, Katy kept going on and on at me to read it, because I think it probably still is her favourite book of the year that she has read, or her favourite book ever that she read, and she was right. I absolutely loved it. And then the last book that I have read and thoroughly enjoyed, I've not got the dust jacket on it, I just finished this recently, is Wayward by Amelia Hart. So I think this was a debut, and I just love books that are set over different timelines. So this follows 3 different women, all from the same family, but I think one is set in 18 something and she's accused of being a witch. Then there's 1940 something, and then there's the main, well, she's not the main girl because it's set over, what is her name? So there's Alpha, oh no, it's 1619 Alpha. I'll try to see if I can find the names. I think the main, the girl that's in the current timeline is Kate, and then it's Violet is the one that's in the 40s. And basically just follows these women who are all sort of, well, they're related but they don't really know. Kate knows about Violet because Violet's her great aunt, but then they don't really know about Alpha. But it's just, it is witchy in a way, because Alpha is accused of being a witch, so that kind of what her timeline follows, that she's been accused of this. Kate's timeline follows the fact that she has left her abusive boyfriend and moved into this wayward cottage that her aunt had left her. And then Violet's follows the timeline of something that happened to her in her house, because her dad was like an earl or something. Something happens, and then this wayward cottage is tied into all of them. I don't think I'm explaining it very well, but definitely give it a go if you like witches and if you like different timelines. Very good. And then currently reading, at the moment I am reading The Secrets of Heartwood Hall by Katy Lumsden. So this is Katy from Books and Things. She's got Books and Things, her channel on here. Definitely worth a watch if you're into historical fiction and like Victorian era books and things like that, because that is very much what her channel is based on. But I don't know if you can see like where I am through this. I'm following along with the 2 Charlies, so Charlie Heathcote and Charlie Brooks from Charlie Brooks Read. They are doing like a read along with this, so it's split into like 5 volumes, so we're just doing a different volume a week I think through September. But I am reading ahead because I love this. This is slowly becoming my favourite book of the year. Slowly, maybe not slowly, because I am thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, it's just everything I like in a historical fiction book. It's got mystery, it's very Jane Eyre-esque. I love Jane Eyre. Like, it's got mystery. So this woman called Margaret has recently widowed. I think her husband died 6 weeks before this story begins, and she is employed as a governess to this mysterious Heartwood Hall, to be a governess for this little boy called Louis. And you quickly get the feeling that there's something going on, because the village have never really seen the family. It's only Louis and his mum. They've never really seen them. People think that Heartwood Hall is strange. She's not allowed to go into the east wing of Heartwood Hall, and a lot of the staff there's not many staff, but a lot of them think that there's a ghost, and Margaret also begins to start suspecting that there's something going on. So it's got really short chapters, which I love in a book, absolutely love, because I don't know why, in my brain I'm like, oh, just read one chapter more, I'll read one chapter more, and I actually read more when it's short chapters than if it's long chapters, because I was currently also reading the first of the Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare, and if you've ever read Cassandra Clare books, she is notorious for long chapters, incredibly long chapters. Like, you're talking about 30, sometimes 40 pages in a chapter, and that can be quite off-putting if you're not, maybe if you're not in a reading mood, or I don't know, if you're short on time and you're like, oh, I want to finish it, because I don't like to leave books not on a chapter. I know some people can do that, like finish in the middle of a chapter, but I have to finish the chapter. So yeah, if you love historical fiction, if you love Jane Eyre, even if you love Katy, give this a go. It's fantastic, utterly fantastic, and if it keeps going the way it's going, it's probably going to be my favourite book of the year. But yeah, that was just a little hello update from me. I'm really going to try and film for you guys. I really am going to try. I was going to make it a goal. I'm really going to try and read these 52 books for this year. I'm going on holiday, as I said, so I feel like I will get quite a lot of books read on holiday, because I am a lie by the pool girl, especially when I have been working non-stop full-time for years without a holiday. So I am definitely going to spend a lot of time reading, which I have told my boyfriend I am not going to be wandering about. I'm not up for that. I am up for a relaxing holiday. That's what I'm wanting to be doing. So I think he's the same, so this works out well for me. I think also I'm going to help my reading along by coming off of the fantasy reading for a bit. I think I've been fantasied out and going back to historical fiction, because the historical fiction books I have been picking up and reading or starting, I have been thoroughly enjoying being back in that world. So I think I'm going to read a lot more historical. So if historical fiction is your bag, then I am your girl, because I love historical fiction. It's probably my favourite genre. So there's quite a few books I've noticed on my shelf that I would really like to read. I've noticed I've got a few on my Kindle. I started one today, or was it? I started one last night because I forgot to bring my book to my boyfriend's house, so I started Take My Hand, and that's a historical fiction about a girl who's a nurse, and I think it's in Alabama. Like, she's a black nurse, and the clinic is for poor black women, and I'm like 2 chapters into that, and I am loving that as well. I can see that becoming a favourite book as well. So yeah, thank you so much if you've made it to the end of this video. It is a bit of a longer video, but I just wanted to sort of give you updates and let you know that I am alive and I am okay. I have just been very busy, and when I come home from work, I literally veg on the couch because I am just very tired. Very tired. So I'm hoping that this new job is going to help with that. I'm hoping the holiday is going to help with that. And then I'm hoping to come back and ready for spooky season, because it's my favourite time of year coming up. Halloween and Christmas. I couldn't be more happy. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye bye.